He's guaranteed to be the number one. Cannot be caught, regardless of what happens in this event in Pro Series 10. But yeah, not to be missed. We've also got the Challenger final as well this evening. So we've got some brilliant matches coming up.
Excellent. So
I see your draw's been quite favourable for this event then?
Yes. First time ever I've had a draw, the bonus of getting a bye through the draw, and I've managed to get 2 in one event, Tony. So straight through into the money stages for me.
That's right. Yes, I saw you went to play Carl Boys, and he's abroad, I believe.
He is. Yeah. He won't come back to play me.
No, I know. The last time I saw him, he was. I think he was in Vietnam or something. He was definitely in Asia somewhere. Was Carl?
Oh, fair
yeah, it's quite a fair trek to come back and just play against you.
Yeah. I've already played him twice this year on the Pro Series anyway, in fairness. So
was he fed up with beating you?
Yeah, something like that. I think we're one each.
They always say that. Anyway, Carl Morris with the first opportunity.
Yeah, Cameron is a man after my own heart with his cut break. But
good job Chris Mellon's not in here when you're saying that.
I know. He's not a fan, is he?
No.
But that's only because he can't do it, Tony. So, early mistake from Carl. Not quite reaching over. Not the tallest of men, but I don't think that's an excuse for that one.
No, that's right. Well, there's 1 or 2 other matches going on the outside tables. Just I'll try and keep it up to date as we go along. Yannick Bothfils is leading Mark Fleming by 5 frames to 3. We've also got Amur Abdelati Riyadh, who's taken the opening frame against Ryan Marcus, and Ryan Marcus had a tremendous event 9. The last 2 days been playing brilliantly. Just came up a bit short in the quarterfinals, but going very well. Eddie Barker's also got a 1-0 lead against Richie Oliver. And the other games are just kicking off out there. Got Adam Basu and Cleve Thompson, Gio Edgar and Connor Jones.
All tasty games.
Well, there's plenty to play for, that's for sure. This match, of course, a race of 7. Match clock of 50 minutes. Yeah, Carl Morris, very animated player. Houdini. He just thought he could squeeze through that gap there and get that double into the centre, and now it's going to be Cameron Tolley who will come to the table.
Yeah, fairly bitty opening start to the match, really. Get the feeling that this frame's going to be quite important to settle either player down.
I don't know about you, but I never really liked morning matches. It was never my thing. Not just because I don't go to bed very early, but it's just I just think pool should be played when it's dark.
Yes, yeah. Well, that's because you and I grew up when you played pool at night time in pool clubs, didn't you? And
well, my mum and dad always had pubs. So.
Yeah, there you go. And even if you did go into a snooker or pool club during the day, the curtains were always closed anyway, weren't they?
Well, you're meant to be at school then, aren't you?
No, of course not. But yeah, I agree. Not a big fan of the early morning starts, but the schedule is what it is when you've got so many players.
Indeed. Well, Carl playing the loss of turn there. Look at the cue balls. He got it over far enough. Clever shot.
Yeah, the yellows don't look hugely inviting, and the 8 ball's a bit of a problem now as well for Cameron. So you would say advantage Carl.
Yeah, got a very good pool brain, this Carl Morris.
However, I'm not sure there's a colour set been actually taken yet, is there? There must be. But I think Cameron broke dry, didn't he? Carl potted a red and then fouled, so yeah, it is definitely Carl on reds.
Indeed. Yeah, I saw a bit of Carl a couple of days ago when he played Phil Harrison, and it started off, it's quite a sort of mixed bag of a game to start with. A bit bitty, but then Harrison found an extra gear.
Yeah.
I won't say he blew Carl away, but he just had enough in the tank just to pull away, and I think he came out sort of 7-3, 7-2 winner in the end, Harrison. And
yeah.
Obviously it shows how well he is playing, because he's actually in that semi-final tonight and up against Tom Cousins as well. So
yeah, I saw a little bit of Phil's match. I commentated on his game yesterday with Liam White, his quarter-final.
Right.
And Yeah, it's one of them where I just feel Phil's name might be on the trophy this weekend, because you always need a little bit of a run, as you know, when you're playing in these tournaments. You need a little bit of rub to go your way, and with about 2.5 or 3 minutes left on the match clock, Liam White missed a simple straight 8 ball to go 6-4 up, which would have been game ball.
Yeah, I was on one of the other tables at the time. I was sort of keeping an eye on the scores and saw that Phil was good with that Phil went through. Entirely getting both of those yellows in the same shot.
Yeah, I'm struggling to see an out here, Tony, on the yellows.
No, well, the yellow at the top's a problem, but it's a massive problem on the 8 ball. Well, Tolly must have a plan.
Wow, what is he going to screw off the side cushion and the top cushion, try and leave him the yellow in the bottom right as we look?
What about playing a double up to the top of the table where the red is in front of the black?
Wouldn't be a bad shot choice, but it just looks like he's in quite an aggressive mood, doesn't it?
Well, he's handed the cue ball over to Cole Morris now, and you kind of think that would be that for this frame.
Yep, and we'll see how Carl's feeling. If he's going to leave the ball behind the 8 ball to fairly late. It's an old sort of EPA world rulesy tactic, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Well, he's got the other one, the other red over the other pocket, and I think he wants to take out these 2 reds here. I think he might even leave it to the last ball.
Bit of a safety net for him.
Well, we've not played a great shot there, to be fair, Chris.
No. Now you can understand why he's left it.
Well, again, it's that thing. You know, it's the first frame of the day, and it can be a bit edgy. You're out on the live stream. Again, not the greatest shot in the world. He's going to probably take it now. I think he has to.
Yeah, I think he does. Wouldn't ever say Carl's a guy that's ever been blessed with the greatest cue action in pool, but he certainly knows his way around a table, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's not a silky smooth one, that's for sure. Like, say, a Declan Brennan or a Greg Batten, they've got very textbook cue styles. But Carl Morris, he can find some shots that other players just don't see.
Correct, yes.
Hence being called Houdini. He's come out of a few scrapes in pool matches in his time.
Yeah, you don't get a nickname like that without being able to do some stuff, do you?
Absolutely not. I think Emma had 4 8-ball finishes.
Yep.
Brilliant had missed 1 black, I think, in frame 5, and then Brilliant had 5 finishes.
Wow.
Dry breaks, obviously, from Emma, but he still got to lock them in.
Yep.
But yeah, it was an incredible match this morning. The real early matches.
There you go. There are some people that like the early games, evidently.
Well, maybe they've not been to bed.
Maybe, yeah. It's still late for them.
Yeah.
Another crushing break from Carl. Bit more work to do this time, though.
Well, they're all open, the Reds, Chris. It's just that one on the rail probably that's going to pose maybe his biggest issue. But
looks like he's trying to get on it now, does it?
He's trying to move it, and he has moved it.
Okay.
Well, that's a surprise. He's a very attacking shot, but hey ho, why not?
Yeah. I must admit, I do try not to move balls if they go, if I don't have to. But
because you could knock them safe.
Yeah, correct.
And that's why you're running a bit of a risk.
Yeah. But he played it well. He got the cannon as he wanted, and it's worked out great for him. Yeah,
probably a shot to move that. I mean, if he probably took most of the top 10 here would probably not move that ball. They just play to get on it, wouldn't they?
Correct, yeah. Without a doubt.
Talking of top tens and championships, don't forget this evening, I'll say it once again, our semi-finals from 7 p.m. are on from event 9 that they've been playing for the last 2 days. And 2 cracking matches. As Carl goes in off from, well, that was a strange show, wasn't it? But yeah, the first semi-final this evening will be David McNamara against Rob Warren. And that'll be followed by Phil Harrison against Tom Cousins, who is looking to win the event and secure the #1 spot.
Yeah, and you wouldn't argue that it's not deserved if he does.
Well, he was my last. I think I was tipped 5 players for event 9, and they kept getting beaten. And I did. In the end, I just went with Tom Cousins. I gave up the ghost, and he's still there. So he's the only one I haven't jinxed.
Fair enough. So you're staying with him from the semis, are you?
Well, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
However, I'll tell you what, Phil Harrison's playing well, though. That's going to be an absolute cracker of a match.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Are you going to back against Tom?
I've got a feeling for Phil. Yeah, to be perfectly honest, I have got a feeling for Phil for this one. And what I would say as well is, out of the 4 players that are left in it, if any of them are not going to have any sort of fear factor of going up against Tom, Phil's definitely going to be the one.
Been around too long, Phil. I think Phil just likes the challenge as well. He relishes those sort of matches.
Correct. Yeah, tough one. It's most of the matches you see with Tom. He's obviously an exceptional front runner. If he gets in front, he's very, very hard to catch with his break, isn't he? So yeah. If it stays tight early, then I'll stick with my prediction of Phil.
So you're hedging your bets, really, aren't you? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I'm saying if Tom doesn't win, I think Phil will.
I'll get somebody to come in here in a minute and take that fence down that you're sat on.
All right, I'll have a soft drink on it with you, Tony.
A soft drink? Not for me, thank you very much.
All right, I'll have a beer on it with you.
Right, there we go. It's more like it. Anyway, Cameron Tolley there playing a very good shot to give himself a chance. And he really needs his frame now, Chris, doesn't he? It's the alarm bells are ringing a little bit, and
yeah, I think his loss of turn. He's going to hide the cue ball, is he?
Yeah, screw the cue ball over to the side behind those 2 yellows.
Yeah.
Loss of turn.
Well, Carl might be able to see a thin edge of this red, but now this is a Houdini moment.
I was going to say, if he can see enough red onto the yellow to then plant the other red in the other middle.
Yep, that would be the only shot available. He's having a look at it.
Of course he is. He'd be having a look at it if he could see the red in the bottom right corner, I tell you that.
No, he's going across with a double. Ooh, that was very close. I didn't think he was going to hit it then in time with the clock.
Ball in hand.
Yeah.
Time running.
Just the added extra slide of these tables that pushed it a little bit wider. But a chance that you feel Cameron's really got to take now to get back into this.
Absolutely. This is it. This is do or die now for Tolley.
And it's his break next as well, I think, isn't it? So he'll be thinking, knock these in, get a ball off the break, get it back to 3-2. Put a bit of pressure back on Carl.
But that's just how quick these matches can turn, though, isn't it? Player looks completely dead and buried. Again, it's not, I don't know, it just looked a bit of a nothing shot there. He didn't really put any conviction into that.
Yeah.
It looks a bit laboured.
Yeah, it's not, it wouldn't have been my first choice of pattern, to be perfectly honest, but everyone's got to go their own way.
In the famous words of Fleetwood Mac.
What a band.
Indeed. Played that very well though. This is a bit more like it from Cameron Tolley. And this will make him feel a whole lot better.
Yep, that'll do nicely.
And in goes the black ball. Absolutely.
He needs a ball. He's got one.
Right, they're going to see some running now.
Not the best split ever.
Yellow balls in, please.
Yeah, I think if you had all the time in the world there, you're probably playing reds, but he had to play what he saw.
Indeed.
Great pot.
Well, that's just not where he wanted to finish at all.
Yeah, and the time's getting on as well.
Well, the bell has tolled, I think, now for Cameron Tolley.
Ball in hand. Time running.
Yep. That looks like good night.
Well, Carl's going to be in no rush to play his next couple of shots, just making doubly sure now, running his clock down.
Yep, extension used, and he basically just needs to pop 4 balls out in the open, and he's won. Looks like he's thinking about playing the loss of turn shot here. Not that it really matters, I don't think, at this stage.
No, not at all. He's played it, and he's played it very well.
Yeah, and I think that'll be that.
And Cameron's going to have his last 20 odd seconds out in the arena. Yep, and there we go. Cameron Tolley concedes. There was no way back, and Carl Morris, the happy man, defeating Tolley 6 frames to 4, and he'll go through.
And it's Simon who has won the lag and will get us underway in the first frame. Big powerful break as we're accustomed to seeing from Si.
Struck that well, and see he's got the cue ball back in a straight line, which is an indicator of how well he's hit the break. Is there an issue with the clock?
Yeah, I think we just lost the match clock for a moment. There's chimes in the background suggesting that the match has ended already, which obviously not the case. So we'll just get that resolved. Quite a lot of technology involved in this. We've got these 3 main match arenas, all of which have got match clocks and shot clocks.
There you go, we're back in now, and it's got an awkward opener. You can either go, I don't know, red to the top right if you wanted, or clip the yellow into the right middle.
Look at whether he can get through to the red to the left middle. It looks like it's very tight. Sometimes the way you pull out a good break, it's not so much whether you split the balls well, but it's whether you've got a starter.
He's played that well.
Red ball's in play.
Yeah, he's forced that into the pocket. Almost sheer will to get that in. It seemed to catch the jaw a bit, but it just fell in. I think he thought it was maybe a slightly big pocket, but actually ended up sort of between pocket and the red ball.
They can become missable, can't they, when you're sort of in betweens and sort of you're aiming. You're not sure whether to aim for the pocket, or aim for the edge of the other colour, and so on, and you just end up getting bang in the middle.
Trying to play a delicate cannon just to get things open. Top of the table, obviously all fine. Just a case of squeezing a path through to the balls at this end.
Yeah, and he really wants this red to go into the right centre, and if it does, they're all dot to dot, but if not, he's got some work to do.
This is both players' first match in this event 10. Sai is the seeded player, so automatically through to this round of 64. Craig, in theory, would have had a prelim, but his opponent unable to make the match, so hasn't yet played.
Yeah, and the way he's played that clearly suggests the red does go in the right centre. He hasn't got to do anything with the cue ball.
Really pots ball, doesn't he? There's no rolling anything in. Likes to force it into the pocket.
Yeah. They don't call him the bouncer for nothing.
Yeah, imposing physical presence. Often it is better to be confident in the striking of the ball. It's when you get tentative that you can end up missing. Ideally, he wants to be pretty straight on this ball so he can just screw straight back. I think he maybe off angle, a shade the wrong way, but
Yeah, he might if he is off angle, he might have to just sort of take his medicine and just roll the red in. So he's able to draw back the way he's cueing.
played that well because it wasn't coming along a completely natural line, so the pace became very important. He was going across the ideal line. If he'd have underdone or overdone that, but that's almost perfect. So in the end, good clearance, big powerful break, does the business on the table. Craig Lakin breaking off in frame 6, finds a ball.
And it's a crunching break again.
Quite a controlled break. He's playing within himself, got plenty of pace on that, but not throwing his body through it like we see some people.
He's not going away without a fight.
No, and from a neutral perspective, that's what people want to see. Sai's been good value for the lead he's got, but Craig hasn't really done a lot wrong in this match.
No, I think it was just that the ball to the centre, wasn't it, that he missed on the after the break.
Yeah, it was one of those ones that was a smallish mistake, but quite a big consequence. Opened up that frame and then frozen away from a number of other frames.
He's lost the cue ball there a little bit, so he might have to play just a little delicate cannon onto the yellow when he puts the one into the middle.
Yeah, wants to try and catch the yellow quite full, otherwise there's a risk of knocking it safe. It's not quite right. It's still got a shot, but now the positional side of this is very awkward.
Yeah, be frustrated by that. It's a hard ball to get on now. So you may have to come round the rails.
Oh, how's this? Not quite as played, but has landed almost inch perfect.
That was magical.
Wow.
I'm not sure Simon will be too impressed with the way he got on the yellow.
No, I mean, I think if he could have played it round 2 rails, he had a chance, but I'd be very happy with the way that turned out. A good 8 ball in the end. So, rack sorted out. Sai Fitzsimmons breaks off, but can he find a ball? No, he cannot. At the moment when he needed it most, his break seems to have deserted him. Didn't seem to get a very good split. Hit the pack quite hard, but it just didn't explode.
No, but the blessing in disguise is if Craig isn't a very attacking player, so and Craig will be having a go at these, but it's not an easy finish by any means. You could pot this into the bottom right and swing the cue ball around 2 rails. Oops. Wow. It's the right shot, but it's one that I didn't expect to see Craig playing.
Reformed Craig for his last tournament suddenly pulls out the safety game. It is the right shot though, no need to chase it. He's got a couple of balls in difficult positions on the cushions, and these yellows aren't going anywhere right now. No positive shot that Sai could play there really.
I think we'll see Craig attack now though, if he can get this first shot. Just come away slightly.
It's always a high tariff shot when you're potting a ball past the middle pocket down the rail. Somehow it always seems to add difficulty to it. Just flicked it away from the rail. Kind of shot if you're right behind it's okay, but when you're playing with any kind of angle it's hard to keep it hugging the cushion the whole way down.
These yellows aren't in a very nice position either, are they?
No, it's awkward because this isn't really a position you want to attack for because of the position of your own yellows, but then if you don't go for the attack, the safety options are very limited.
It's another strange miss from Simon.
Yeah, I mean, is he just playing to pot that? I seem to miss that by an awful long way. I don't know if he was just focused on the cue ball to try and leave an angle to disturb the cluster of yellows. It's a better shot from Craig down the rail. Still got a bit of congestion because I think that the red at the bottom of the cluster of yellows may well pot to the bottom left-hand corner, but he's going to have to move the other ball out of the way first if he wants to play that shot.
Maybe that's what Simon was trying to do, is sort of force Craig into going for something that's more risky than Simon trying to pot balls.
It was an odd shot because I think that logic would be right. I think he probably would be sensible not to have gone for the clearance, but it just sort of looked like he was playing the pot, the pace he played it at. How's the pace? Oh, that's a good shot. That's a very good shot. He's got on the difficult ball. There's one more positional shot to play, and this match is at his mercy.
He's got to be careful with the cue ball. He's got to really get into it. Just make sure he doesn't go in off, but he should get it.
Well, that is not the result of the match we were expecting. Simon Fitzsimmons started off like a train, winning the first 4 frames there, but what a comeback from Craig Lakin.
Yeah, this one, it's a story of two ends of the spectrum in terms of the ranking points this year. Stevie Dempsey is number 2 and Lee Anderson's number 63, so but fear not, I don't think this is going to be a one-sided affair. I think Lee Anderson is always a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, and he showed us already this weekend that he seems to be playing pretty well. Pro Series 9 is down to the semi-final stage. Stevie Dempsey went out in the first round of that one, and his first shot in anger in Pro Series 10 is not the best. He'll be kicking himself with that one.
Yeah, unexpected miss. Dry break from Lee Anderson gave Stevie the first opportunity. That's a ball that he would definitely expect to pot. This table's not without its problems though. The yellows have got a couple of balls tied up on the left-hand side. Equally, the reds are in a similar situation. Lee does have an angle here that he could screw across table, but using the rest is going to make it a little bit tougher. So he's going to elect just to... He would have dearly loved to have an angle on this ball, but he's come too high. So
I don't think he can believe how far he's gone there.
no. Well, that tells a different story. If he can get to the potting angle of this ball, well, he thought he could.
I'm not sure that was on.
No, it didn't feel like it.
Yeah, maybe he thought he could just slide it in down the rail, but that did look very, very tight.
Yeah.
He did have a couple of results yesterday, Lee Anderson. Got through Phil the Power Parkin by way of 6-red shootout and a Hill decider with Aaron Davies as well before running a cropper to Cam Tolley in the last 32.
And for Lee Anderson, he does need to take his opportunities. That missed ball from Stevie Dempsey, you're not going to see many of those.
No. Yeah, that's a really rare opportunity, to be honest with you. Stevie's been so relentlessly good for the last 18 months, really, that any chance like that, you've got to jump all over.
Another miss.
Yeah, that one was a fair bit tougher than the first, but again, you just don't expect Stevie to miss them at this stage.
Yeah, it's more of a shock when he does. So another opportunity for Lee Anderson, but he's going to have to open with... He's got this thin cut to middle. The cue ball's going to be moving. Or he's got a long straight one to right corner. It's just a question of preference. It's going to be this one to middle. He should just be able to drift the cue ball. He's run it into the 8 ball, and that's disaster. I don't think he was playing for that cannon. I mean, extremely unlucky to go in off from that.
Yeah, that is unlucky. No doubt about it.
Steve with yet another chance. Ball in hand, such a big advantage. So now he has this one problem ball at the bottom of the table. You think that has to be his opening ball.
Yeah, but he needs to be clever in how he plays it, because the 8 ball's still a problem for him, even if he makes this red.
Yeah, he set it in such a way that he's going to cannon into the 8 ball and push that up table. He's just worried then about not blocking himself behind the yellow. So this has to be a clever little shot. Yeah, so much so that he didn't play the cannon. He was worried about playing. If you play a 4 ball cannon, he wouldn't have had another shot, so he didn't want to take that risk. Still not all perfect. So now he needs to think about what he's going to do with that 8 ball. I just wonder whether it does squeeze past the yellow.
Well, that may be the plan now. Maybe that's the decision he made. Maybe that's the easier shot than the last, well, than the other option, which is to try and play that cannon off the first shot. It probably goes, but yeah, he's having another look at it.
Yeah, I think he's decided it does. It's one of those you can force it. There's probably not enough room, but if you play it with a bit of pace, it kind of squeezes the cushion and the pocket takes it.
Yeah, almost double kisses it in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, you can force the rubber. The rubber's a bit spongy.
Certainly one who wants to be right behind though, and he's in perfect position to do that.
Yeah, there's no prizes for having a big angle here. If he lands anywhere near the cushion, then it's a horrible shot to have to play. So he needs to get this one absolutely spot on. And this looks just about perfect. It's okay. If you're going to have an angle, you want the angle to be this side rather than the other.
Yeah, I don't think that yellow's in his way either for his cueing, which is nice. And this first frame all comes down to this.
Going to see him play this with a bit of pace. Yeah, there's enough from there. He's okay. Oh, there. I think he needed to play it a bit harder. Well, this is the third opportunity for Lee Anderson. That's a real rarity. You're never going to get that many opportunities against Stevie Dempsey. And this is really a simple chance that he has to take.
Yeah, yellow sails in. It's crazy, isn't it? We often say, or certainly I do, that best players in the world, they may every now and then give you a chance. They very, very rarely give you two. I can't remember the last frame I watched Stevie Dempsey play where he gave someone 3 opportunities.
He just needs to land this ball on the side rail, and he's finished a little bit awkward. He's just got the wrong angle. He wanted to be the other side, and it was just a simple stun shot. So now he's probably going to have to reroute and take the one next to the 8. He's elected to move the yellow, and that's okay. That's worked out well. I guess he did that only just because he had the natural angle to do so. It's not something...
Yeah, I don't think he was forcing it. Yeah.
He's still on the cushion, so awkward cueing, slightly hampered. And he has to manoeuvre the cue ball. He can't just drop this in. So needs good cueing. Still just betwixt and between. He'll go long with this. Nothing to do with the cue ball. And finally, after a string of errors between both players, it's Lee Anderson.
8 minutes and change that frame took, and even in taking it out, Lee Anderson never looked fully comfortable, fully set.
Neil Rayburn 3-2 up on the Australian Paul Clack. Christophe Lambert 3-0 against the man from Northern Ireland, Gary Clark. There's one other game in play at the moment, Scott Gillespie, Carl Morris, and they're locked at 1 apiece.
Oh, poor Scott. I watched Scott's first round match with Cam Tolley in Pro Series 9, and it was one of those where I knew Goobsy would leave it thinking, I will never pick up my cue ever again. And then his reward is to face Carl Morris on a back table in Pro Series 10.
It's been a torturous season for Scott this season, especially knowing what he is capable of. He dominated the game for a couple of years ago, and it's just not kind of refound that form. Lots of other things going on in life. He got married and so on and so forth. So other priorities, which is quite understandable, and we know that he's got the quality. He will be back for certain.
Yeah, a tough one, but also he has won, and that was a huge moment for him, I know, winning the Ultimate Pool Masters earlier on this year.
Yeah, it just shows there's just that moment of brilliance in an otherwise fairly forlorn season. He's been really down in the dumps about his game for a while, but then just suddenly just turns it around and wins an event. So Lee Anderson coming about this clearance really well. This is the best we've seen of him so far. And he's going to get his second frame on the board, barring some real catastrophe. Just reminding Stevie Dempsey that he's still there. Nice clearance. Impressive stuff. Reduces the deficit to 3.
Well, that's where I think Stevie's at his best, actually. I think he's a fabulous cueist, obviously, but I think his best attribute is his mental game. He's so strong mentally. That word you used earlier, that tenacity, that comes from there, and it's what elevates him, I think.
Yeah, Lee taking no time to get down on these. The yellows are all there. The 2 that came to rest at the bottom of the table or a dead set plant, so he can clear the top of the table and just work his way down. This should be a fairly simple clearance, and that's exactly what he needed at this point, was a quick clearance. The clock's going to be against him soon. That's fine. Probably just short of where he wanted to be, but he's absolutely fine. He can just drop this in dead weight. There is still time. There's going to be around about 11 minutes left after this clearance, so that's enough time to win a few frames. Just needs the opportunities.
Yeah, it's well out of his hands now. That's the issue, and just the way that Stevie's playing and breaking, you're not expecting any chances.
But as much as Lee would have enjoyed that clearance, it'll also frustrate him, because he knows that he could have and should have been playing like that early in the match when he was getting those mistakes and those chances. And if he had been, this match would be much closer than it is.
Yeah, agreed.
Briley now 5-2 up against Rob Warren. Craig Waddingham 6-2 against Jimmy Carney. Christoph Lambert 5-0 against Gary Clark. It's another very one-sided game.
Yeah, that's crazy. Don't often see many of those against Gary Clark.
I guess another one of the shocks, if we can call it that, Andy Williams beat Ronan McCarthy 7 frames to 6. Ronan would have gone into that as a fairly strong favourite. Greg Battens beat Luke Sanches 7-3. Greg's actually having a pretty good weekend compared to his season so far. He's had a fairly deep run in the first event. He's looking for another one here.
So Stevie Dempsey on the break, and he's made a ball as his quest to advance in Ultimate Pool Pro Series 10 continues apace. And he could pick any ball here. These have come out beautifully.
Yeah, it's going to be yellows, just simply because of the yellow that's bottom left of the table, and they kind of link up a bit better. He's seen the clearance really quickly as well. It's just a bit short of pace. A bit short of pace. If he's another 5 or 6 inches, he can just kill the cue ball. But as it is, he's going to have to come across the table. And that was a hammer break.
Yeah,
Live it up to
break befitting the name. Yeah, quite.
Just slightly hampered here, but he can get to the back of the cue ball, so he needs to just stun down a few inches onto this other yellow. Now he can work his way back up the table, and 15-second clock is now in action, but I don't think that's going to affect this match any longer.
No.
Last couple of shots here from Stevie. And it's been a very, very solid performance.
Yeah, hasn't it just? Stevie Dempsey putting the finishing touches on another victory in this Pro Series campaign. Still in the hunt to finish the year as #1. He'll need a few more of these today and indeed tomorrow if he's to get that particular accolade. This 8 ball to book his spot in the next round of Pro Series number 10. Never in doubt.
In and out, presenting and in the arena interviewing, and all the stuff that you do behind the scenes as well that people don't realise.
Yeah, I've been enjoying a lot of tables 2 and 3 this weekend, actually. Done an awful lot on there. It's been good fun to see. I wanted to see a variety of different players, and it's been exciting.
Indeed, well, Chris Melling, Yannick Beaufils, and it's Yannick breaking off. He had the advantage. Well, I don't know if it is. Well, it is an advantage, but he did play earlier today, and he beat, I think it was Mark Fleming 7-5 earlier, where Chris hasn't had the inconvenience, let's say, of playing an earlier match, but
Well, we talk about this a lot. I mean, I talked about it on earlier on with Shane Thompson on commentary as we see an awful break. I hope we get some bigger breaks than that in this match. I'm sure we will. Look at Chris's reaction. But obviously, yes, it is a disadvantage to have to play the extra match. But the benefit is if you win that match, you go in against the seed with a match under your belt. You've got your Q arm going. You've got a feel for the tables, and that's where Yannick will be.
Absolutely. And Yannick will be very pleased with that opening shot there. He's clattered the ball in and left himself with a great chance now to open accounts. So what looked like a bit of a scruffy frame after, as you said, Simon, not the greatest break in the world. He's now going to get a good opportunity to take the lead. Recently donned the glasses, did Yannick. So I think it was the last event back in September when he played for the very first time with them. Very accomplished player, Yannick. We've had several battles with Chris over the years. Back when I was playing for Ireland, Chris and Yannick were both internationals. They were obviously England and France respectively. They're a little bit younger than me, of course. Me a lot younger than me. I'm not going to say that they were juniors. Well, just the simple stuff really to do now for the surgeon. I think he wants to get onto the yellow at the top of the table first. And the yellow over the middle will be his last one before the black. Just bridging over this yellow, but it shouldn't be a problem for Yannick. But yes, it's not been the greatest of weeks so far for Chris Melling.
No, just the one match and it didn't go his way, but it's what you always get with these Pro Series weekends. You get the second tournament. They are worth the same. There's same prize money, same ranking points, same prestige. It's a big deal in its own right. It's going to be Yannick. He feels going to get the first frame on the board though.
And a pretty tidy finish after a poor break. Played his opening shot, which got all the yellows out of that cluster into one strike, and it's enabled him to win that frame.
But just a little bit more fortunate.
Yeah, that was just bad luck. Like you say, Simon, Yannick's break, there was absolutely nothing wrong with it, but a very unfriendly red charged up the table and banged it into that top corner, which gave Melling an easy finish. Well, he kept the cue ball in play this time, but it's going to be dry. We'll have another look. Didn't have the same explosion with the balls that his previous break did, that he went in off from. This one keeps it white on the table, right in a nice spot, but no friends.
Yeah, it's not going to work out well breaking like that against Chris Melling.
Red ball's in play.
Yeah, Melling's starting to look in the mood.
Yeah, has a slight problem here in the bottom right, but Chris is so creative in the way he'll deal with these sorts of layouts. He has so many ways of doing it. I've spent time filming with him and he's so clever, so creative, and he sees everything so quickly. It really is amazing when you sort of get to hear his thought process.
Yeah, he's certainly got a large box of tricks. has every shot in the locker as well to go with it. But you have to have a great imagination to see these sort of shots where, you know, even I can look at it, and I've got a vivid imagination, but some of the things he sees, you know, are incredible. You know, 3-ball cannons and to nudge a ball out, and he plays them to perfection.
I love commentating with him because he'll say something like, "Oh, he's in trouble now," and you're looking at him, is he? And then 2 shots later, you're, "Oh yeah, of course." So he just sees, he knows, he sees those patterns, he sees where they've missed a trick. It's amazing. It really is. He sees the game as well as anybody ever has.
Well, he can see into the future, if you like, as well.
Yeah.
What is amazing about him. So he's trying to play off the 2 reds and then the 3rd red knock in with a cue ball. That's exactly what he's trying to do. I mean, clever little shot. Didn't go in, but he's got 2nd prize there.
Yeah, that was creative. In the end, he actually didn't quite manage to work out plan A there and ended up coming round to that one. Not quite dropping in, but he still has some equity in the frame. These 2 yellows are very difficult in the bottom corner by the cue ball now. Of course, a tough pot up the table.
Yannick playing the loss of turn there. The cue ball's gone in. Unfortunately for Yannick.
Ball in hand. Time running.
He's playing this. He's playing the yellow there to knock Chris's red in. But unfortunately for him, the cue ball was a very unfriendly one as Chris now removes his 2nd to last red. And everything just seeming to slip away from Yannick Beaufils after that perfect start.
And slip away quickly
To book his place into the next round.
Looked like he threw a little bit more into that one.
He did.
Didn't keep his normal shape.
No, he meant that one, Simon.
Yeah. Still didn't quite square up that front ball like we know he can, but I mean, look at this layout. I mean, he's not even getting down on the shot. He's so happy with this layout.
Well, he's making quick work of this. And this is going to be the match. In goes the black ball, and Chris Mellin defeats Yannick Beaufils.
Should be a good match, Tony. Lewis has played well this weekend. Tom doesn't exactly need much of an introduction.
No, that's right, Mark. Lewis Roberts, like you said, he's playing some great stuff. And it's the man Tom Cousins who's going to break us off. Already into one semi-final, which will be later this evening against Phil Harrison. And like you say, he doesn't need any introduction at all. If he can win that tournament tonight, he secures his #1 spot and cannot be caught.
It's like the ultimate free roll, isn't it? Starting a 2nd tournament when you're still in the 1st one. Obviously, he wants to do well in this one as well, and he's got a form for doing the double, so I'm sure he's got that on his mind. But already through to that semi, as you say.
Yeah, I think with a player like Tom, a match is a match, and it's regardless of what round, who the opponent is, it doesn't really matter. It's him against the balls.
Yeah, I mean, there's always this joke. He looks like so relaxed. You're not sure if he realises he's in a match half the time, but I think perhaps that does him a slight disservice. I think he probably does actually analyse things a bit more than you might think.
Loss of turn.
He's playing the loss of turn there. Sticking Lewis Roberts in with not a great deal to go at.
Lewis has been a good player for a long time. He almost got promoted at the end of the 1st season, got to a final of the Challenger events against Hiten Patel and lost in a deciding frame that would have seen him promoted. To his credit, he then came back the next year, played the Challenger again and did get himself up to pro status.
He's played a great shot there. And if there's any early nerves for Lewis Roberts, they're not being showed at all, are they?
No, I mean, he's a very good cueist. He's a former snooker professional as well. Nicknamed the cue maker, account of his profession making cues, but he's an expert using one as well.
Looks too young to be making cues and doing all these things. He looks about 12.
He's too young for everything, but good youthful looks, good genes. He's been around in the game for a good few years now. And actually, from a position where it looked like Tom had got him in a bit of trouble, that first shot has really opened things up. Great chance now to take the first frame.
He certainly wanted to come a bit further through with that.
Yeah, he wanted to be not far off straight on that. He's come up a long way short. He's going to have to do a bit of travelling with the cue ball now.
He's made the pot. What a great shot that was.
Yeah, and such a smooth bit of cueing. A lot of people would hit that too hard thinking it was a very thin shot, but he's just cued it. And he's held position, which is amazing from where he was.
Cued it like a dream, Mark.
I mean, this has been a great first clearance, hasn't it? What a lovely first visit clearance from Lewis Roberts. It's actually a good skill because there is a sort of pressure in giving those exhibitions and playing well. It's not the same as a tournament, but it does harden you up. Got some elevation on this cue ball.
I mean, what a break, and you cannot believe he's not got a ball. We saw one like Yannick Bafis did one earlier when Simon and I were in here. But it's just amazing when you hit the balls that hard that you don't get a ball off the break. You know, Tom Cousins has done nothing wrong, absolutely nothing wrong, and he's 3-1 down. All he's done is had a couple of dry breaks, and he played a loss of turn, which he didn't think, you know, was particularly dangerous. And Roberts has took out a science fiction finish on him.
All pool players feel aggrieved when they don't pot the ball off the break. But Tom Cousins' break in particular is just so powerful. It always seems unbelievable when he comes up dry.
There's a little bit of a loose shot there from Lewis. And the red might just scrape past that black ball and be able to plant the one in over the corner. If he can, he should have a good chance of winning. You see, he goes past. Oh, he's played it off the yellow. Clever little shot there from Lewis Roberts.
Hearing news from the other side of the arena that Cormac Kerr has completed a 7-2 win over John Rowe.
That's a good win for Cormac Kerr. Great player, John Rowe.
Yeah.
As is Cormac.
Disappointing end to the weekend for John because it felt like he had a lot of potential.
He started off so well, didn't he? Another good shot there from Roberts.
So now you have to play the ball that he's just cannoned now because he's landed on it about as well as you're ever going to get on it.
Nothing wrong with that shot.
Yeah, that's turned out fine. Ideally hoping not to have moved the second red, but it still goes, so that's not a problem.
And the way this is going and the way Roberts is playing, you mean Tom Cousins will probably start turning his attention to tonight's semi-final against Phil Harrison in Series 9.
Well, this is seriously good match practice for him ahead of that semi-final because it's not going to get any tougher game than this because Lewis has been pretty much textbook so far.
Those semi-finals will be on tonight from 7 p.m. First one up will be David McNamara against Rob Warne, and that will be followed by Tom Cousins taking on Phil Harrison, who's also been in fine fettle this week, isn't he?
Yeah, he sometimes sort of slips below the radar, doesn't he, Phil? But he's just relentlessly consistent. Ooh.
Well, a mistake from Lewis Roberts.
First error of any note so far. Looked like he was just going to slip past that yellow, but just got a bit too much of it. He's got himself into an awkward spot as well. He's obstructed the up and down with the yellow. He's going to have to go around the houses. He's running out of time as well.
Well, I think Tom Cousins can smell blood.
Yeah, look at this layout. He's moved all the reds. The only yellow down that end of the table goes past the red, so he can...
Such a big frame. I know we always say this, but to go 4-1 against Tom Cousins, and now it's looking 3-2. 3-2, it's anybody's match. 4-1, you think, well, I've got a bit of a cushion here. I can afford maybe the odd mistake, but, you know, he's going to be kicking himself, Lewis Roberts.
Yeah, and it's not just the scoreline, is it? Because Tom's under all the pressure at 4-1, but now once it's 3-2, he's thinking, well, that's not great, but it's okay. We're back in this now.
He'll be relieved as well because he's had such a big break in this frame, and to go dry.
Well, that's one of the few downsides to Tom's break. You basically never see him not split the balls up. Occasionally he goes dry, but the balls are always open, so those times he does hand the table over, it's usually for a fairly easy chance for his opponent. He always plays as though it's a practice position, but this absolutely is a practice position. Very little scope for anything to go wrong here. On the plus side for Lewis, it wasn't like he missed a pot. If he'd have sort of twitched the black or something, that would have been very bad for his mindset, but it was just a difficult positional shot that got away from him.
Lewis has been measured by Cousins as he calmly strolls round the table and dispatches these yellows.
Poetry in motion, isn't it? Just so effortless around the table. It's a bit like the way Chris Melling ended that last match. Like he was practicing, he barely got down for half the shots in the last frame.
Chris likes to sort of a very fast glide, whereas Tom's measured sort of stroll around the table as if, you know, not care in the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's very rare you actually see him knock it off the table. He quite often does go airborne. Well, a completely different break from Lewis, but I think he's potted off all the breaks so far this match. It's
been nothing wrong with his break. It's just a couple of frames that at the end of them he's made a little bit of a blunder.
It's obviously something he's worked on. I think in years gone by that maybe wouldn't have been seen as his number one attribute. You'd say his potting was, but that break is actually as good as virtually anybody's. The only person it's probably not as good at is the guy he's playing.
Again, a little bit loose.
Yeah, this is just what he wasn't doing at the beginning. He was going through the ball so smoothly. That one he just quit a little bit early. He's just come out so that he can see the red, but was playing to be much further out with the cue ball.
Yeah, he's dragging some baggage about with him now, Mark, unfortunately, I think. A couple of misses have bore away in his mind a little bit, and played that nicely though. But a good finish here now, and that will straighten him up again.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you need, isn't it? It's basically, once you've won the next frame, you're okay, you're back into it. But whilst your opponent's knocking them off one by one, you just keep dwelling on it. I mean, 4-all would set up a great end to this match, given both players are playing well. Ooh, just dropped. So he's going to have to play one more shot here.
Well, you've got a choice. Could you try and dribble this and hold for the red in the bottom left, or do you play with a bit more pace and come out and have both reds in the same pocket? And he's just answered that question.
Yeah, I mean, played it in a positive way, which I guess is particularly if you're feeling a bit nervous, is generally the way to go. So, we're level again.
Yeah, cracking player, Luke Gilbert. Had the pleasure of him joining me on the comms box the other day. And that is just an absolute disaster for Lewis Roberts.
Yeah, that was the last thing he wanted. Really needed a ball off the break, but the only one he made was the white.
Extension court.
So, unable to take the last chance because he went off off his own break. Tom Cousins now with a chance for victory.
A good chance as well. This is a real good look at the finishing line for Cousins. I was going to say he's still going to be unbeaten this week. Just don't forget we're going to see him later this evening in that semi-final of event number 9 in the Pro Series.
Yeah, it's just a mad record, isn't it? To play all this pool and still not lose a single match.
No. He's going to have a battle on his hands. He's got Phil Harrison. The coverage of those semi-finals will start from 7 p.m. It'll be David McNamara taking on Rob Warne first, and then it'll be Cousins versus Harrison. At the moment, it's Tom Cousins now trying to keep up this unblemished run this week.
What a story that would be if he has 2 deep runs. Now, what's he done with this yellow?
Well, thankfully for Tom, it's not hiding behind the red completely. I mean, he can just pop this in over the bag, and if in an ideal world, he just wants to be dead straight on this, so he can just roll it up into that top corner, and the black's going to be easy to get on. He'll take that. The cue will naturally move that red out of the way, and it will help him get onto the black ball. There's nothing really to do with the white. And in it goes. Well marked.
What a performance this has been from Tom Cousins. So he dispatches this 8 ball and completes a 7-5 win over Lewis Roberts.
It's David McNamara. I'm Tony Holgate, and I'm pleased to be joined by none other than Arf and Dad.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Tony.
And this promises to be an absolute cracker. It's going to be David McNamara versus Rob Warne. Obviously, it did have the wrong the wrong graphic up there just for a split second, but I'm sure that'll be sorted in an instant.
Yeah, they've both played really well to get to the semis. You've got to be playing well to get this far. Both possess really good breaks, so I expect a lot of free-flowing open pool in this match.
Well, I was lucky enough to commentate on David McNamara's last 2 matches. Sean Chipperfield, a little bit of a... Sean certainly wasn't at the races where he playing like he normally does. McNamara was very, very good, but he played incredibly well in his quarter-final against Neil Rayburn. And I know Rob Warne, he beat you in the 6-red shootout in the last 16 of this event.
Yeah, that was like, obviously we just heard from Rob Warne in his pre-match interview there. It was probably one that he didn't look like winning. One that definitely I was disappointed to lose, but it's just the way it goes. I've done 2 shootouts. Well, I've done more than 2 shootouts. I've lost 2 shootouts, and they've both been to Rob. I've posted 2 good times first up. Like I've done a 22 seconds. I think he beat it that time with 19 or something. And I did a 23 yesterday, and he beat it just over 22 seconds. So I knew the 23, because Rob's beaten a better time before, it might not be enough, and obviously it proved that way. But really, I shouldn't have gone to a 6-red, if I'm being honest. Yeah, one that got away. But
So you feel a bit hard done by?
No, it's one of them, isn't it? Like I still had a chance to win 7-5. It was under the 15-second shot clock, so it's never easy. But yeah, I did have 1 or 2 iffy rolls. I had a ball bounce out in the middle pocket.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm not one to dwell on what's happened. Just try and move on to the next matches. As you get older, you don't look at.
That's all you can do,
Yeah.
our fans. That's all you can do.
Whilst we've been talking, and Dave's, he's mopped him up nicely. And Deej's first break was really big, so if he repeats that, it could be 3-0 before. So he's actually come across them slightly. Looks like it's going to be a dry one. So this is.
Well, he does lead 2-0, of course.
Yeah. So we're going to have a chance to see Rob for the first time in this match. Let's see if he can respond with a finish of his own.
Well, I want to let David McNamara know he's here, and it's not just going to be a one-man show.
Yeah, that's it. I think this is his, the hardest shot. Oh, he's missed that.
Wow.
If you got that, look where the yellows were. That was the hardest shot in the actual visit. So this is going to be 3-0 now. I can't see Dave missing these yellows. These yellows connect really well. He's just going to screw back, put the 2 yellows in the left middle, and then take care of the 3 in the corner pockets. That's fine. I think the bottom yellow goes.
This is a disaster for Rob Wall. I mean, to start a semi-final, not really well. He's missed 1 ball.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to miss that ball.
No,
though.
I didn't.
It was like into a slight blind pocket, but Rob's, such a good putter. He's from a snooker background.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't expect him to miss that.
But you've been all day. They've been preparing for this, thinking about what and you probably play in your head what's going to happen. If I get these chances, I'm going to do this and this, that, and the other. Then this happens.
But what you can prepare that way. But what you can't prepare is when you get your first chance. So he's got his chance at 2-0 down, so he can't replicate that pressure that he's under. So it's.
No, that's very true.
It was a case of maybe putting both there, but he's still okay. So just needs to screw this back out.
Well, we've barely played 8 minutes, and it could be 3-0 to David McNamara if he completes this finish, which he's going to do.
Yeah, this was the easiest of the 3 finishes, so I fully expected him to clear them up.
And to get all the way to a semi-final and then sort of have this happen. Now, is that the sort of break he was doing against you?
Yeah, look at this layout now. This is. We keep saying he needs to win this frame. He cannot lose this frame now. 6-0 is, I think, way too much to come back from. Whilst he keeps Dave away from the hill for as long as possible, he's still got to win 2 frames. When he's just going to be 1 frame away, I think that's too big a mountain to climb. Just has to be careful that red does follow right over the pocket too. Yeah, that's good. I think that was it in terms of this frame. Can't see anything else going wrong. These are all pretty simple now, just 3-4 rolling shots.
I just want to get a frame on the board now.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want that big fat 0 sat there.
That's maybe make the scoreline a bit respectable. But Rob will know that Dave's won 5 on the bounce. I can equally do 5 on the bounce too.
I like his glittery shoes.
Yeah, I noticed them when I played him. Puts mine to shame.
Like the Blackpool Illuminations on his shoes.
Yeah, they are quite popular. I've seen a few people wearing them.
You're not going to get me wearing them, Arthur.
No, I don't. I'm not a loud person.
Them and a pair of shorts.
Yeah. He's hit them well. He's hit them really good.
What's he got left? He's got a yellow over to the other side. Is he on a red as well? I'm not sure.
Yeah, if you can see a red, I think he'll fancy reds, because I think the red that's gone over the top.
Good cue ball he had there, didn't he?
Yeah.
Pulled it straight in a straight line back to the top rail.
Yeah, good control of the cue ball there. I don't know if he can sneak.
The red over the middle here, you could just pop that in. And the red does go past that yellow, I think, at the top.
Yeah, it'll definitely go in off the yellow.
Now this is a real chance.
Great chance now.
Yeah, it is.
He needs to make sure that he moves the red next to the black pretty.
Yeah.
Because that'll clear the way from the black.
You'd be happy with this layout to try and get into a final, wouldn't you?
Yeah, 100%. I think the route I'm looking at is put the one just below the black, and then the one over the left corner. You need to be trying to play the one over the top right corner, maybe like your penultimate ball, you don't really want to be playing position on that to get on the black. I would try and leave the one of the balls in the middle. That's interesting. He hasn't cleared the. I don't know why he's left that one down the rail, because that's probably his hardest ball to get on the black. So I would have been clearing that. He might have to now. Okay, so he's going to be back to the situation I would have fancied myself to be in. So he's going to play on the one that's over the right corner and leave himself straight in on the one in the middle.
He'll be getting excited now, won't he? Because he can see the finishing line now.
Well, this is the shot now.
This is the shot.
Just has to play a cushion first into the yellow and screw. Yeah, he needs to make sure he screws the cue ball back just below the bulk line.
In it goes.
Yeah, looks like he's got a bit of angle there, but he's walking around confidently.
Just this positional shot, and he's played it pretty good. This replacing the final.
Oh, that shouldn't go in.
Oh, it's wiped his feet, and just look at his reaction there, David McNamara.
Yeah.
He's into the final. He's beaten Rob Warren.
Phil Harrison on the opening break then, as they bid to join Dave McNamara in the final. Had a brilliant run this weekend, Deej. He'll take some stopping in that game. Terrific break that from Phil. Has he been unlucky here? I think he has.
No,
or has he got the yellow?
I think he's got a yellow into the top right hand corner pocket. Good break there from Phil, and if Phil is to have any chance in this match, he must break well, because we know Tom's going to break great as always. So it's not actually that bad for Phil here. These yellows are quite simple for somebody of Phil's calibre, and it's great to see Phil doing well. He's not really won a great deal recently, and for somebody as good as Phil is, it's quite a surprise.
Yeah, I completely agree. He has seemed to have turned the corner a little bit this year, though, with his form. Winning the Players' Championship was spectacular, and he only got through to the final group by way of an absolute epic against Tom Cousins in his group final in the Players' Championship. It was one of the finest matches we watched.
Yeah, and I actually tipped Phil in comms. I think it was after I got beat. I was doing the commentary on one of the matches, and I did say on commentary that I fancy Phil to win it this weekend. I can just tell, just by the way his demeanour, the way he's walking around the table, he's getting on with things. He's not, over-analysing things.
Yeah, and it's usually a sign that Phil Harrison's in perfect position when he's wandering around the table shaking his head. It's become a familiar trope in our game. And it's interesting to hear Tom even address it in his interview. He said that he's got so much respect for Phil and he got along with him great, but as an opponent he can be a particularly draining one to play, because quite often with his mannerisms he tends to give you quite a bit of hope at the table, and you think he's out when actually he's in.
You can see the cue ball spinning there. He had to play that with a lot of left-hand side because he was bridging at the side of the red, but it was an easy pot, nothing to do with the 8-ball.
Yeah, bulletproof start from Phil Harrison.
Yeah, and that's a sign of a champion, The ranking takes care of itself if you start winning tournaments.
Yep.
Well, we lost the cue ball there. A little bit fortunate, but not easy.
Yeah, a bit tricky. He'd have actually loved it, I think, if this 8-ball had gone down, because it would have reset to the middle of the table. But I actually spoke to TC after his last match. That was in the in Pro Series 10 earlier on this afternoon, and he was struggling a little bit with his break, just in the sense that he wasn't quite getting the cue ball he wanted it to be, and said he was stunning it, but he might look to screw it more this evening, and that was the first example of that. But of course, when you screw it, he's slightly more liable to going off in those top corner pockets.
Yeah, he'd love to be able to take yellows here. He may be able to cut the yellow in the corner. But, well, he's going for reds, and that's simply because the first shot is difficult. What was he saying? He's playing the double. A little bit surprised at playing the double because he has got 2 reds at the top end of the table where he can actually pot one of them and develop this red. Very surprised that he's played for the double.
Well, I just wonder if the reds to the left side rail are actually a bit kinder than they first appear.
Great shot there.
Yeah, he cued that well, didn't he? Been a bit hard to judge this weekend, the cushions, but TC seems to have the run of them now.
Yeah, table 2, what I just played on, it seemed faster than this match table. You know, I've played a couple of matches on this table, and I played one on table 2, and it seemed quite a bit quicker.
It's crazy how it can be so different in exactly the same conditions, isn't it?
Well, just look at the reaction he's got on the cue ball there. Absolutely pin perfect. Cut the red in the middle past the 8 ball and cannon the yellow half ball. He's guaranteed to be on a red. Don't want to hit this too hard, just nice controlled cannon. Just like that.
Yeah, that's lovely. And all of a sudden, in 3 shots, what looked like a really, really tricky finish is now routine and dot to dot. You wouldn't quite put it as unmissable, but as good as really with someone like Tom Cousins behind the cue.
Yeah, it's great to watch this Tom. He looks like he doesn't care, but believe you me, he does.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's effortless around the table, isn't he? And it's a very unique sort of style that he's got. I don't think anyone else has his kind of mannerisms, but he's probably the player who makes the game look the easiest, because it looks like he is barely trying. What a super player he is. There he goes 1-1. Well, if this is a standard for the rest of the match, we're in for a treat too, I must say.
Yeah, well, I have actually seen him here this weekend, so it probably is him, and he's actually won a Euro Tour as well at 9 ball, so he knows how to win.
Yeah, good to see Haji get a run as well. He's one player who we saw him in the World Championships in Morocco. Really impressed me with not necessarily his play, but more how he handled himself in the big arena, because there was a lot of people watching in Morocco in a feisty atmosphere at times. That Morocco-India match was, I mean, it's like being at a football match, not a pool, not a pool match. And Haji was the Iceman really for India. You can handle yourself in that arena. You can handle yourself in any.
Yeah, and Phil's just going to drop this red in, probably flick the other red, and then he'll leave a nice angle to put the red in the middle of the table and count his bad one. Well, he's gone too far. He's gone too far on that one. That's not what he wanted. He wanted the cue ball to be left about 6 inches so he could play the red he's closest to it and stun over for the red up the cushion. He's still okay, I mean, there's nothing real difficult for him to do here.
Yeah, it just requires a little bit of a reroute.
Yeah, I think I'd be taking one over the top left-hand corner pocket, personally.
Just coming in behind the red on the top rail.
Yeah. Well, that was close. That was nearly a time foul, and he's played a bad shot there as well.
I just wonder if Phil... It's always difficult to know how aware Phil is out there, because obviously you can see the hearing aid and everyone knows Phil has that struggle, but he doesn't really hear the beeps. But he was very, very calm there. Almost too calm.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something, sometimes it can help. Do you know,
well, Carl Morris says the same. Carl Morris, obviously completely deaf, takes his hearing aid out when he's out there, and he says his own internal clock keeps him on time. I wish I had that internal clock.
doesn't want to be bridging. Has he gone a little bit too far again? I think he has, you know. Can he power this in and stun the cue ball down the table? He's got to get on this red up the cushion next. Well, it was absolutely perfect.
Yeah, he's played that lovely too.
And again, he doesn't want to be too high on this red, because you're going to lose a cue ball, but if you don't hit it hard enough, it's going to be difficult to get on the 8 ball. Perfect, absolutely perfect. Good match so far.
Yeah, hasn't it been? Very, very good indeed. We haven't really seen a mistake as yet in open play. Phil's had one bad break, but other than that, pretty faultless so far from these two top players. Been an exhibition.
Well, he's gone towards that middle a few times and that corner. Hit them square, Phil. Good break. He didn't hit them with any power though. He hit them with 0 power.
All his attention was on controlling the cue ball, and he did do that pretty perfectly. Squared it straight up down the middle of the table, but in going for control, he maybe lost the explosiveness. He's desperately searching for a ball, and none would be found. So Tom Cousins does come to the table in the decider. What's he got to look at?
Well, for me, reds all day long. Got to play one cannon, and that's the red in the middle next to the yellow. He could even pot this red in the middle now, screw the cue ball back just below the 8 ball, play the other one in the middle, and cannon his bad ball out. Well, I'm not sure about that shot, Tom. He had an opportunity there to leave the angle to develop the ball. You know, I'm not normally one to question Tom's selection, but that was a very, very strange choice of shot.
Yeah, well, he's got the one to left centre. He's not really got anything else.
Well, he may have to pot this and come low, below the black. Well, decide against it. Oh, he's plumb. He's absolutely perfect on this. Pot the red, screw into the yellow. Whatever you do, make sure you hit the yellow. And he'd absolutely love to hit the yellow half ball, because it'd be on the red that he's cannoning out in the left-hand centre pocket. He might not even play it, but I think I'd definitely be playing it if this was me.
He's looking low on the cue ball. Yeah, no cannon.
Yeah, and he's not landed a perfect angle here either.
Yeah, he's slightly off the straight. Is he looking to screw into it off the one to the top right here?
Well, he's got to screw into it here. He's going to have a shot at the red no matter what, but Phil will be delighted with this. He's potted a few reds and not done anything with his bad ball. Needs to cannon the yellow, really.
Oh, he's missed the cannon. Oh, it's about to get mixy.
Yeah, and for me, you can't play to cannon the red. You play to cannon the yellow, because that can't happen if you play to cannon the yellow.
15-second shot clock here. Tom's got to move.
He's in trouble. He's in deep trouble.
That was a hit and hope.
Well, he's had a bit of a roll here, you know. Can he play the red off the red?
I think we're about to find out.
Well, I think he can pot the red in the middle, but the red's tied up. The red that is tied up, he may have to double it into the top corner. I tell you what, he's had some form there, you know. I know it's tough, but he's had some serious form to be able to be on that ball.
There was incredible, yeah. Okay, this is the match, isn't it, for Tom Cousins, this double?
He's going to need some luck as well to get on the 8 ball.
The double short. The 8 ball was waiting, and Phil Harrison has the chance to steal in the semi-final.
Yeah, and straight away Phil can cut this yellow in the corner and cannon the other yellow on the right hand side cushion. It's a free shot. It's not enough.
That's Tom Cousins' first mistake in open table. It's come in the decider.
Well, he's missed a cannon. Oh, and it's just pulled up. If that had rolled a little bit more, Phil would have been shaking his head. Still got a bit of work to do, you know.
Yeah, this is no guarantee. The drama might not be finished just yet.
He needs to stop messing about with this clock. He's over at this one as well. Well, he's hit it that bad. He's perfect on the other ball. Is he? He can't be playing the snooker, surely. Yeah, you've got to go for these. Yeah, and this is a free shot for Phil. I think I'd have liked a little bit more angle on this, just so he can play it pocket weight. You can't really miss the ball. Oh, his heart had been on his sleeve there.
Just. What's the plan? Is he going to try and move into this yellow on the rail?
Nah, you've got to play on it. You don't want to be straight though. You don't want to be straight and you don't want to be there. That is an awful shot from Phil Harrison. An awful shot. There's no reason to get that close to the yellow. Just play for the other yellow if need be. You're never going to miss one up the cushion. But he's got to play the snooker. Oof, that was close.
Has he got the snooker?
Nope.
Tom Cousins has a foothold.
Yeah, but what does he do? What does he do here? Do you know what I'd do?
I'd love to know.
I'd play the red up and down, knock the yellow away and kill the cue ball on top cushion. You can't really do much else. Well, it's not the worst result, you know.
It's what he's tried to do. It doesn't cut in the right centre. It's just gone below the pocket. He's put a load of pressure on Phil Harrison here. This has to go.
How's he queuing? He doesn't have to go for this, you know. He could play the snooker. Oh, what a shot.
Go for it, he does.
What
and
a
go
shot.
for it, he gets. Phil Harrison with a clutch pot just when he needed it. And he's going to get over the line in a fantastic decider. Phil Harrison is a Pro Series finalist. He gets over the line against Tom Cousins with a super semi-final.
Felt like a little bit of a dead pack, that, didn't it?
Yeah, well, he certainly hit it hard enough. I'd be relieved one ball has found the pocket.
They've actually split really nicely as well. I mean, they didn't actually seem to go very far. At first glance, obviously we're getting a look in a moment. I think these yellows are looking really nice.
It was a more 9-ball style break. I think he was trying to park the ball in the middle of the table. And I think actually playing with that cue, you pretty much have to. The approach of screwing back in a straight line that a lot of people use in English 8-ball, it'd be quite hard to play with that cue.
I actually bought a break cue last year. It's a half break cue, half jump cue. So an American style cue. And the tip's so big, the wire looks tiny when I'm breaking off, and I barely use it, to be fair, because my cut break's been working really well for me. So it's just in my cue just to balance the weight of the cue case, really, more than anything else. I rarely bring it out anymore to break with it.
It's definitely become a lot more popular to use a breaking cue. If you think back to tournaments a few years ago, it was relatively unusual to see somebody have a separate cue.
Absolutely. So I think he just tops his 3 mark, doesn't he, and plays the yellow into the left middle next.
Well, you've got to say, he's looked pretty good so far.
I think he got a little bit of heavy contact there, because it's almost like he stops in his tracks there, didn't he, expecting that cue ball to just run through maybe one more revolution.
Yeah, it would have been much easier if he could have just brought the cue ball further down this end. It doesn't really matter because he's obviously got a couple of balls in fairly open positions, but it may be the shot after this that it catches up with him.
So he needs to pot this clean, really. He doesn't really want to take it off the yellow, unless he's going to play it at pace to bring both yellows away from the pocket, but it'd be disastrous if he just snicks this yellow, wouldn't it? Because it would just end up sitting next to the other yellow on the bottom rail. In fact, he's decided to play this other yellow and played that well. The only trouble with this route is the 8-ball becomes a little bit trickier now to land on. If it goes right middle, then he could potentially take the yellow to left middle as his last ball in this finish.
Yeah, I think the fact that he's not opted to move it when he could have done earlier on suggests he's probably planning to leave it till last. Doesn't want to be dead straight on this. If the cue ball's tight to the rail, he will have a slight angle to get out.
I think he might need a little bit of run inside here, might he, just to sort of run through the... Or is he going to screw past everything to the right hand rail? Can't quite tell. No, I think he's going to play a little bit aside. It's short pace.
Yeah, he's way shorter pace.
So the shot for me now, Mark, I think is you punch this yellow into the top left-hand corner and you try and get the cue ball on the blue spot. So the dead centre of the table, so leave yourself a shot on the 8 into the... well, the bottom left as we're looking on that screen, but the bottom right when we look at the other view. He's played played that very well. That's an excellent shot.
Yeah, and he's kind of got down in a fairly nonchalant way, like he wasn't that disappointed with where he left it.
Yeah.
Which is the right way to play it, because how many times do you see somebody in that position shaking their head, annoyed that they haven't got the easier pot to the middle?
It's quite a kicky black, this. Be careful. Well, he's got to be wary. He might possibly get a kick on this, but it should be fine. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, and again, a very steady piece of cueing.
I'd have thought he was crazy, so it's just good. It just sort of shows everyone out there that it can be done. Oh, that's a really unlucky little flick back into that corner. Okay, this is going to see a little turning point in this match. He's actually struck this really well, and he's very unlucky to get the. He's got the cue ball. It's a great line. He's got two horrible little flicks here. Look, 1, 2.
Ricardo providing his own commentary. We won't need to narrate that for him.
So is it the 3-ball plant on the yellows? Of course, in this rule set, if that was been a red of the pocket, he wouldn't be able to play this shot. It's got the aggressive option, and first view, and it's not the greatest. That was landed, is it? He's got a very thin, snicked yellow to right middle with cue ball maybe careering into the bottom yellow.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lovely outcome in terms of all the balls are in possible places, but he's got to dig out a pot in order to keep going at the table.
Can he play this off the red into the middle? Definitely control the cue ball that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thin cut is probably the safer pot, but it's so thin that maybe he is looking at that.
I think it's the best way just to, I mean, maybe possibly be able to stun it pretty close to where it is now, in which case he'll be fine.
Red is maybe a shade low for this shot. I think he maybe can just about make it. Oh, he's played that really well.
He's okay here. He's on the bottom right as we're looking now.
Yeah, he's going to come with another shot because he's left it a bit of distance, but nice open pocket for this. Cue ball naturally tracking across for the other ball at that end of the table. Should just miss the other yellow on the way past.
Just needs to beat the other one, yeah. Which he has done.
Wow, this has turned out well. He's got quite a lot of angle, but I think he can just about control the white as he brings it down to this end.
Yeah, I think this sort of shot, you kind of look like real gentle little screw shot. You're almost kind of trying to go in off the middle, if that makes sense, just to get the angle. So you've got to be brave here and just like near jaw.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to hit it too hard because then the spin takes too long to take effect.
Even more so, he's actually going to try to cross and he's caught red.
Yeah, I know why he's done that, but there was a lot of traffic.
And to be fair, Mark, this is actually quite a tricky yellow to hit now, let alone fluke somewhere, because it looks like both reds are in the way of the natural.
Yeah, if that red to the right of the cue ball, you fancy him getting close to the pocket, but it's right in the way of where he wants to play.
They're both in the perfect line, don't they, to block the yellow?
Yeah, if he goes below this red, he's going to have to really load up with side, almost sort of swerve onto the first cushion. That's not really a good result, because even though he's hit it, he's going to be in a lot of trouble now.
This will tell us how Ricardo's feeling now, because really it's not the sort of finish he should be taking on here, but I don't know. I've just got a feeling he might.
Yeah, you want to say for sure he isn't going for this.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if he might have nailed this in the top corner, then yeah, that's definitely the correct shot. I think all Hards can do is just rest on the yellow. I know a lot of times in these situations you just maybe smash into the ball and hope for the best, but I think on this occasion it's hard to see where it's going to fluke.
Yeah, and it's also that red is slightly tied up at the moment, which means that Ricardo's got to play a shot to get it out.
Yeah, looks like he's going for a smash though. He has. How's it worked out? Not good.
No, I mean, that may have been the right shot. It's quite 50-50, because if you rest into it, you get snookered again. But
it was anything that I said, but I couldn't see where it could go. That was the only issue with that shot. But yeah.
So Ricardo now with a pretty open finish.
He's not going to be overly happy with that shot. I mean, he's taken the one to right middle now, it's fine, but he's definitely played for the one on the top rail and left himself hampered bridging.
Yeah, and although a lot has been said about these pockets are quite generous along the rails. He's still hampered like that. You could easily flick some side on that you don't want to. It's definitely not a certain shot played like that. Which is
funny,
how it's going for the middle.
All players do that. You go back and have a second look, even though you know you can't play it.
Yeah, go and look at the one you wanted to play.
Yeah, go back and hope the white's just moved a little bit to the side or something, but it never has.
So now it'll be easy enough to leave plenty of angle, which will suit him fine because he's obviously going to come down to this end next.
I quite like just playing for the blue spot here, centre of the table. I don't think he's for any heroics, or even just the right of that. He don't want to be obviously going 2 to the 8 ball, but I don't think he should be flying the cue ball down the table to try and land like perfect or something. Just into an area would be good. He's kind of chosen that. It's a little bit further away, but this angle looks quite natural, Mark, doesn't it? Just to come off 2 cushions.
Yeah, it does, and this is the kind of shot that he has previously floated in. Hope he doesn't let us now that we've said that, but this kind of shot
Sorry.
Yeah, well, I was going to say exactly that. He's been cueing very low on the ball, but then kind of lifting up as he goes to play it. Almost a sort of Jimmy White-esque approach to cueing up.
I was about to say, as soon as you said that, I was thinking Jimmy White. It always looks like he's playing a deep screw and then he plays a shot with topspin, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's an odd mannerism. I don't think it would be many people's preferred option.
Yeah, he's cued that very well. Lovely timing there, because he didn't actually hit that very hard and got loads of reaction from the cue ball.
Yeah, he's a very natural cueist, isn't he? Got a lot of cue power.
Obviously, a lot of players put the cue ball actually on the break line because you're closer to the pack. But he seemed to get through that great. Unfortunately, that's no golden break.
A few cheers from the crowd. They thought that was the frame done.
It's just carries on, doesn't he?
Yeah, so the 8 ball will be respotted. He's potted some other balls, so it's a legal break. So effectively, it's just neutralised.
I did see a player grab all the balls this weekend to re-rack them, and his opponent was gracious enough to let him off. I think he was 4-0 up at the time. So.
Yeah, that's not a good way to lose a frame, is it? So the 8 ball has been respotted. Ricardo still with the choice of balls and read his option.
Again, he's left himself bridging, so much so I don't think he'll play this red down the left-hand side now.
Yeah, a little bit careless to leave himself hampered, given he had quite a lot of margin there.
He can only sort of really dab this in. I mean, it's a brave one to screw it out. To be fair, that was very brave.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's too troubled by the occasion, does he?
I think the red was over the pocket mark, wasn't it? Must have been.
I mean, it's good to play that in a positive way, but that was missable played like that. I mean, I suppose to be fair, what you don't want to be is a long way from this next shot, because then you slip out of position. He's nicely where he wants to be at the moment.
Are we going to see him use the extension? Well, maybe the first time he's used it in the match. I know Harge did.
Yeah, he hasn't dwelt on that aspect, has he? Oh, what a positive shot that was.
Yeah, I think he tried to beat the yellow, didn't he, to get to the red on the right-hand side. It might have to be his next ball now, I think. Maybe a little tracer left just to check it off the top cushion.
Yeah, he's just going to play for the gap between yellow and red.
He doesn't want to be straight. The head shake indicates he's straight. Straight enough.
Yeah, it's not terrible. I think he can bump
It depends
this.
on the 8 mark. I mean, if the 8 doesn't go bottom right, or sorry, bottom left now as we're looking, then this next positional shot he's got to come back down the line.
It's quite straight.
And this seems fairly straight as well.
Felt like he could maybe have borrowed a bit of pocket and run that off 2 rails, but hasn't been able to do that. This is going to.
He's got to power this.
Yeah, now how greedy does he want to be? Does he just want to play for the middle of the table, or is he going to try and get close? Oh, wow.
Yeah, he wants to be greedy.
Ooh,
oh, now
how's
is
his
he?
luck?
Is he?
Has he slipped past that?
If he gets straight down, then we know he's on it. I'm still not sure.
Well, he doesn't really want to bring that yellow into play. He's going down quickly for this. Oh, no, he's missed that by a mile. Maybe he couldn't see the full potting angle.
He definitely didn't, because you could see the spin on the cue ball before it reached the 8 ball there, couldn't we? So, a great chance to go 5 each now.
Yeah, this is a chance that Haj wants to take because there's a little bit of a sign of weakness from Ricardo. He's going to be a bit annoyed with himself. If Haj can just spend a bit of time on this clearance, I don't mean deliberately play slowly, but just get about it in a measured way, leave Ricardo in his chair for a moment, reflecting.
Yeah, just let him stew for a minute or so. So he definitely wants to be leaving one of these two yellows over the bottom right-hand corner for access to the 8-ball later on. In fact, it looks like he's going to back away from the finish and just bring this yellow into play.
Does need to get a full ball snooker here.
I think he's found the gap. Not that Ricardo could do a great deal, but there are 5 available pockets on the table if he wants to give it the big heave-ho.
Yeah, if the right hand of these two yellows hadn't been there, he may have considered a cushion first shot with a lot of side. That's quite a common 9-ball type shot.
I think we go. Get ready for this one, I think. Here we go, here we go. We're off. Now is he going to get a double loss of turn? I'll tell you what,
that's not the worst outcome, is it?
that's wow. I mean, if the yellow that was in between the 2 middle pockets went, it would be a horrible shot. It doesn't go anyway. The little tuck up behind these 2 yellows is really fiddly. In fact, he might not even be on. He might have to bump this yellow out and try and bump it off the other yellow to get the snooker. Yeah, that's a really nice controlled shot.
Yeah, that's a much more difficult shot than it looks. Very easy to double kiss that.
No, he has left a run cushion chance though.
Yeah, this is actually a bad chance. I think he may have to play with a bit of side to make the angle, but he can get a firm strike on the 8-ball, get it moving.
I think he might hit it hard enough that if it doesn't go in the middle, it comes off the jaw and goes in the top corner. I think he's going to give us every chance to go somewhere. No, he has played the control. Decent effort.
Yeah, that was a good effort.
What he's done is open up the chance for Haj now.
Yeah, and Haj has got what he played for there. He was patient, trying to get all his balls into good positions, and now he's got the opportunity. And it's an opportunity to level the scores in this final. A couple of ways he could have gone about that. So to go up the table first.
Obviously passes the 8, so that's made this a little bit easier for him. Wouldn't mind a little angle here just to get a little bit closer to these 2 yellows.
Yeah, this ball on the right-hand side rail is a formality if you're behind it. Oh, he's played that well as well. He's not going to be able to get the cue ball very far away from the cushion, but as long as he leaves the right angle, that shouldn't be a problem. He's actually played a very good shot there. He's had to eject a lot of pace to force the ball away from the cushion.
I think he's got the awkward angle, Mark. I think he's got that just off straight angle here. I think he might have to top this through with running right-hand side.
He's loading up.
Is he going to get the requisite fizz? He has. That's lovely.
Yeah, that's a well-played shot. Yeah, that's a well-played frame because...
A big break here.
Where's that cue ball going?
He's got a ball. How's his cue ball? Is he going to rest on this red and have no shot? This is a chance to win the title, I think. He's got the... yellow to right middle. And once we see the layout, I think the yellows are sitting quite pretty. I think the fact that red drops in the top left-hand corner has helped enormously for this finish. Again, he's opted to cannon into a ball, and you have to say that's come out lovely.
Yeah, it's in his hands now. Plenty of time on the match clock.
I don't think Ricardo's too bothered about the match clock.
No, I'm not sure he's looked at it.
I don't think he's going to take his full 15 seconds per shot, put it that way, to try and run the clock down. And
no, there'd be no reason. If there's a minute or 2 left, you perhaps go about a clearance in a different way, thinking that you don't leave your opponent time. But he's got to just get these.
Where's his cue ball going? No, he's fine.
Yeah, there was a moment that the pace it was going at. If he catches the top of the red, that's no good. But
just got to punch this back and beat the yellow. Which he has done. Well, he should be fine here. So he can always not fail to get across the right side of the table with the cannon. In which case he had to avoid it completely. So simple little screw back here for a straight 8 in the top corner.
Well, this has been good stuff, hasn't it? So, Ricardo Jones, just this 8-ball for victory. And it's down. What a performance from Ricardo Jones.
Your Challenger Series 9 champion is Ricardo Jones. And stick around, folks. The Pro Series final, Dave McNamara versus Phil Harrison, is next. And I think as well, he's never deviated. He's never been tempted to go and play any other form of cue sport. He has been such an English 8-ball purist. And something I say a lot about Phil Harrison, but generally speaking, he's your favourite pool player's favourite pool player.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, he's a very open and welcoming person as well. You know, he's always got a smile on his face. Maybe not now after that break.
Well, didn't I just say it a frame ago that all eyes will be on the Phil Harrison break? Can he control the cue ball? Well, yes, he can. That is pretty much perfect. And then bang.
That's savage.
Yeah. The one thing that you would say is I don't think he made a ball elsewhere, so he's not been robbed in that sense. Deej would have been coming to the table anyway, but he just comes to the table with cue ball in hand behind the line for his first go in the final.
The big thing with McNamara's matches, like his semi and his quarter-final, and also even the last 16, he got way out in front very early. He got two, I think he was 3 or 4-0 up against Sean Chipperfield. We know he was 5-0 up against Warren in the semi. So he's always he's had that big cushion. Now if he does go 1 or 2 down against Harrison, that's all of a sudden just changes everything. How can he react behind? Or, you know, how is he going to stand up to that sort of test?
So the little bump out shot there. Deej, I think, has developed everything that he needs to. The yellow now goes bottom right, the 8-ball now goes bottom left. It's just a little bit fiddly because everything's quite close together. He's not ideal on this yellow either at the top. He's very thin.
Just going to check it in with a little bit left-hand side here. Pop the cue ball down straight off that rail. That's pretty good.
Yeah, he's judged it well. He's got options here. Could take the yellow above the 8-ball now. Or do you think he saves it for his last ball?
I think he saves it for his last ball, but he wants to be exactly on it so he can run the cue ball. Well, he's definitely playing it that way now. But he has to have it so the cue ball will run towards that red that's to the right of that yellow. If he could just land on that, that's perfect. But he doesn't want to come too far up the table. Oh, he's played it too soft.
Yeah, he's very aware there, isn't he, that there's nothing for long.
No.
But he's very short. He's the right side of the yellow, but he's very long way towards the right side of it.
But the thing is, he can't stop that cue ball now and hold on that 8-ball from, I mean, even if you buff it into the red that's just the other side of that middle bag, you're going to be snookered. So, I mean, does he try and play the double? I mean, he could stun double this and get the cue ball into that gap just above the blue spot, and he would have a shot at the black.
Oh, he tried to hold it.
Yeah, it was never ever going to happen.
And Deej is a phenomenal doubler as well. Wonder if that did cross his mind. You're probably, pound for pound, looking at the 2 best doublers in Ultimate Pool. It'd definitely be in the conversation for sure. Phil Harrison, widely regarded by many as the best there is. Deej is right up there. He's phenomenal. And if it was on, a little surprised he didn't maybe take it on. I'm with you, Tony. I'm not sure the shot that he took on in the end was really available for him.
No, he was trying to just sort of pinch it and drag it in, and it was half a shot. It was, you know, if you don't play those with any conviction. The nightmare was born from the shot before when he was
that was the
very
real
gentle.
error. Yeah, the shot he's tried to play is a very, very, very high terrace shot, which, as we say, might not have even been accessible in the first place. The big error came before.
Yeah,
you can see why he made it.
Yeah,
he was desperate not to be long, but in doing so, He was very, very short. Phil may have one shot to play here if the Reds don't all go independently, but I think they do.
This is what Phil's very good at. When he gets his chances, he's very clinical. You know, he'll doubly make sure he's, you know, it's got plenty of time. 1-0 suddenly becomes 2-0. You know, if you put Phil on that shot that David played, I think Phil gets on the ball proper. You know, he wouldn't be that short.
Yeah, it's something Phil
I think
truly
David
prides himself on, is his cue ball.
David was maybe just a little excited, I think. Look at that, absolutely perfect little angle there just to pop this red into the corner. Black will be going in the same bag, and this is going to be 2-0 to the Farmer.
Yeah, perfect start from Phil Harrison, who looks pumped up. Well, he's definitely looking at that more controlled break. We didn't see it in the semi-final. Went for more power. He lost the cue ball on several occasions. He's definitely really looking to control that cue ball, and sometimes it won't work for him because you're a little bit more at the mercy of the balls there. You're not guaranteed to make one, but
He's just, as he pulls his cue back, he's having just a little pause before he strikes, and it's almost as if he's just deliberately setting himself to hit the exact spot he wants, like you say, with control. He's not launching his shoulder through the balls and trying for the power, and it's working so far.
He's one of those who does tinker quite a bit with his break, Phil. It depends on how he's feeling and maybe what's in his own personal vogue at the time. He has been known to have a little bit of a stand-up break at times, and as you saw, it's a different break to the one he used in the majority of the semi-final. The break he's using now is the one he used for the last frame, where he came up dry, but he went nowhere near the pockets with the cue ball. So red's the choice for Phil here, and I can only imagine he's played that because those reds were dead set plant. But
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I mean, it looks to me like he's looking like he wants to screw back into the little cluster of balls here. He's looking at that yellow, thinking, if I hit that yellow half ball, I'm going to push those two reds gently apart and have one of them available into the centre or corner. Yeah, I think he's going into him. Well, just made a fool out of me.
Well, he's gone to pick apart. I think he may be a little bit short here because I don't think he can avoid the yellow and the red here. So is he going to maybe go up the table to come back down?
I don't know if he played this. If he played the top red now out of those two and put top on the cue ball, it pushes the yellow and red onto that third yellow and it'll push it towards that bottom right hand corner. But again, Phil doesn't like to take those sort of chances. He wants to be very exact and precise.
Yeah, if he's straight on this now, he wants to be past the straight, ideally. But if he's dead straight, perfect. I don't think he is.
He's got a slight angle here, Stephen.
He's going to this yellow and red. This needs to be judged really well. Whoa, how well has he judged that?
Wow. He's still got a little bit of work to do. He can't just drop this in.
Yeah, cue ball is key here. 8 balls, no guarantee.
David McNamara, they're looking on, praying that he gets a chance here in this frame.
I wouldn't bet on it, but it's not all over for Deej here. Big shot required. Oh, well. Now, don't judge Phil Harrison's reaction. That's the number one lesson I would say, but that looks like he's not on it.
No.
Now Phil did give this exact reaction earlier, and he potted the ball into the middle of the bag with no side required. So that is why I say don't judge it just off his reaction.
Well, no,
but I think he's snookered here.
Yeah, he's coming off this side cushion.
Oh, big shot required. Huge shot required. And
Well.
Dave McNamara gets a chance. And this is now a massive frame. Early days, I know, race to 8. But you just get the sense that if Dave McNamara is to take down his first Ultimate Pool title, he needs to win this frame. If he doesn't get out from here, the confidence knock I think would ensue might be fatal.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think this, if he didn't get this finish now, I think the psychological damage would be too much. You know,
let alone the scoreboard damage, of
absolutely,
course.
Absolutely. You know, this is right here, right now. This is his chance to land a big title.
I think Fatboy Slim said that once. Yeah, he's perfect. Great to see a big crowd in tonight. Cooking atmosphere out there. There was for the Challenger final as well that we just had.
Well, just the simple stuff to do, and this is going to be a big relief for David McNamara to get one on the board.
Don't care who you are, what you've played in, how many times you've played in them. You're never quite fully at home until that first digit appears on the scoreboard. A little bit short on his 8 ball, a little bit of a pout from David McNamara, but he's okay. And Dave McNamara does get that first digit on the scoreboard. It's 3-1. Back on his break.
Again, he gets that cue ball straight to the top rail, but my word, go straight. I mean, how much power did he get into the cue ball to get up and down, and the pace it went into that corner?
Yeah, that's really unlucky.
Huge screw shot.
Yeah, you could argue he's probably got a little bit too much on the bottom of the cue ball if you're being hypercritical. But his line's perfect, really.
How has that ball got all the way up and down the table without colliding into a red or a yellow?
Yeah, a clean one's pretty tough. But one of Phil's earlier, I'd also say he has broken dry. So the only advantage Phil gets is cue ball in hand behind the line.
He's playing this off the yellow into the centre to start with, I think. Frees up the black ball. He'll be looking at that now.
Was that yellow going in front of the red? That might just be a little bit awkward.
I'm not sure why he played it with so much pace. He could have played that softly, because that red was available in that bottom left-hand corner. So he sort of opened up the black ball and closed the pocket for the red ball.
Yeah. Ooh, half a pocket, maybe a third of a pocket.
I think Phil's had a complete and utter double check down there yet, has he?
That was close on the time foul. It's okay. Referee's all over it. Brian Moss, one of the best.
You have to say our referees are all of the top notch.
Ah, brilliant. Every one of them.
Right, we'll be having a little look now, because if he can get through, he's absolutely perfect. You should drop this in dead weight, and he's on that one at the bottom.
Yeah, he looks pretty straight on it as well.
And you think this is frame ball if it does go. Well, put it this way, if he starts shaking his head, we know it definitely goes.
Yeah, it's tight.
I think it goes. Very dribbled in, very slowly. Got to cue this really well, though. You've got to hit dead centre ball.
Oh, it flew in. Of course it did.
What are we talking about?
Flew in.
Unbelievable. We could have got a couple of those in there.
Yeah, I think so.
Side by side.
Oh, absolutely perfect. Great shot.
Lovely use of the bit of side there. Does he pop this in and just screw back and play in the top corner? I think he will. Just does the basics and the simple stuff so well. All with minimum fuss.
Almost always gets the finishes that you feel he should get, Phil Harrison. And quite often gets plenty of the ones that you feel like he shouldn't. Such a super player. He goes 6-3 in front, he's 2 away. And really committed to becoming a fully professional pool player. Oh, is that going to be dry? No. Oh, these are the ones. All right, everybody. Revisit this one in 5 minutes, because this is the sort of frame where you can see a Phil Harrison masterclass. If there is a way to get out from here, Phil Harrison will find it. This is horrible.
He didn't get too much into that break there, did he? It was quite soft for Phil.
Reds or yellows isn't an easy decision, but Phil will do his best to try and pick this apart. He may not go, but I think he will.
I think he'd prefer yellows, but I think he'll have to take reds purely because the yellows are too tough to get one early doors.
One thing you would say about the reds is they'll unlock the 8-ball a little bit, but I mean, this is...
So you've got to plant into the middle, push cue ball into 8-ball and free that red. It's asking a lot, and a lot of different things have to happen with the same shot, but I don't see him much else. That's what he's looking at.
Plan.
Cue ball into the black.
Brilliant. What a great shot.
Still loads of work, Stephen.
Oh, isn't there just? So the yellow away to the left of the table goes to the left centre, maybe to the top left, but it doesn't really go anywhere else convenient. The two in the middle, one of them, maybe both of them, goes bottom right. But this is so tough. This is all about picking a lovely little route here. Booms it long. Oh, what a shot that is, Tony.
Great cueing.
What a shot that is.
And he's still got lots of work to do.
Yeah, he's
but
having
you
to
did,
work
you
so
did say it
hard.
from the outset of this frame, though, Stephen.
It's just the sort of frame that if you looked at the layout of this, if someone broke off and gave me that layout and I had to pick any ultimate pool professional to go and clear it, Phil Harrison would be right at the top of my list. It's his world. This red goes bottom left.
Yeah, you can just scrape the cue ball past the black ball to get onto his last red in that middle. Just seeing if you can guide it without hitting the black with the cue ball. You might just nudge into it. Oh, he's come across the table.
Oh, he hasn't quite come far enough.
Wanted a bit more on that one. I mean, it cuts, it's very thin. And if he does get the pot, he's going to be on the black. He can't snook himself.
Big shot.
Oh, he's overcut it.
Wow. Well, potentially
And you can
a
hear
massive moment.
You can hear Team McNamara making themselves heard in the crowd there.
And it can change so quickly. So at the start of this frame that if Dave's to get out, he basically needs to win the next 6 frames 5-1. If you put it like that, it seems like a very, very long way back. But all of a sudden he's at the table with 7 yellows and the 8-ball with no traffic whatsoever. And he's got the break in the next frame. And all of a sudden, when you're playing fantasy 8-ball, Dave's 6-5.
Yeah.
You know, it can change that quickly.
Didn't really want to knock that yellow too close to that red there, but...
Well, if it doesn't go, he's probably best taking it now to the top left, you'd say.
Just about to say that.
Yeah. To be fair, it might just slide in. He may not have to do that. Yeah, I think he's okay.
Yeah, he's nudged it back into position. Nice shot there from Dave McNamara.
You know, when I said the 15-second shot clock might be a big moment in this match, I feel like it could get very mixy very soon. Because we're a minute away from having it, so it's going to be on the next frame. 6-4 in the final. We're going to go to 15 seconds a shot. And it's how do you like it time.
Yeah. Just thought you could have moved that cue ball further up the table there a little bit on that one. Just.
I think he wanted to. He's still absolutely fine. It's a good shot.
Well, this is going to be 6-4. And like you say, Stephen, we are approaching the 15 seconds of shot, which will come in the next frame.
And it goes.
Looking in a pretty unassailable position from where I'm sitting. And makes the ball off that break, and just look at this as well. I think we could be heading for the exit door for David McNamara here.
It looks that way. It looks that way.
If it does end here, he's had a super tournament. I mean, he's going to be disappointed.
Yeah, it will be a very little solace to him at the moment, that is for sure.
But what a tournament Harrison's had.
Just
He's had his little battle with Carl Morris where it was all sort of laughy, jokey, and is very animated and a little bit scrappy at times. But since then, Harrison has been immaculate. Then again, he did have a little stumble, didn't he?
Yeah, he's just. I don't think you can win these tournaments without having a little bit of run, and he did have it, but his response to everything that's been chucked at him has just been exemplary. It's the ultimate professional.
Well, it's been a Harrison masterclass. 2 simple reds. He's going to have a very easy black ball. He's going to land this Pro Series title.
Oh, he has turned the corner this year, Phil Harrison. He's always been there or thereabouts the ultimate pool, but we did just get this nagging feeling that he'd never quite shown us his best. But in the second half of 2023, the Players' Championship title is followed by his first Pro Series Championship. What a victory for the Farmer. The two players embrace at the end. It's Phil the Farmer Harrison.